And now, an address from the president of the senior class, Alex Colley.
My fellow Americans, as we enter the new year and say goodbye to January once more, we must reflect upon the previous year and the events that entailed. Nearly a year ago today, the Russian government launched an inhumane war on the peaceful country of Ukraine. Communist China led military exercises against the peaceful country of Taiwan. And the Queen of England passed away in early September. As the world saw a near end in COVID-19 restrictions, the world saw the result in an economic depression, in the form of inflation and other supply and demand related issues. The global economy has suffered, and the United States seems to be following that path. If this were any other normal politician giving you a speech, you'd probably expect me to say something like, "The state of our union is strong." Or to quote President Gerald Ford, "The state of our union is not strong." The United States has seen economic lows, a job market that is wide open, but an American public unwilling to work in some instances, a government and a Congress that gave up on the American people long before many of us were even born. The status quo, or life as usual, will not sustain us. In fact, it will bring us down even lower. Those in power are trying to keep the American people poor and be below themselves by encouraging polarization. The extremes in this country claim their goal is to fight for the American people, but all they do is seem to cause fights in America. I don't paint this picture of despair and distress to fearmonger, but to warn the next generation, my generation, that if we don't step up and fix the problems in our world that our soon-to-be predecessors are building us, we have no world to fight for. Global tensions have not been this high in decades, and America hasn't been this weak, and arguably, since it was under British control. All hope is not lost. We must encourage our fellow Americans to continue excelling in math and science, and create a vibrant and diverse workforce. Let us mold our country into the strongest it can be. Before we begin this journey, Americans must stop the divisive rhetoric we see in the media and call it out. No longer should we let politics decide where we move, who our children befriend, and how we interact with one another. Let us go back to simpler times, where one neighbor could be a Democrat and another a Republican, but they both would be sharing a good conversation and a drink at the neighborhood barbecue. And why? Why must we go back to these ways? And why do we let our beliefs dictate our conduct with one another? We must realize that there's so much more to a man and a woman than their politics. And just because you may disagree with someone on their life philosophy, that does not mean you can't laugh at their jokes when you're out at dinner together. The media would like you to think we are all truly at each other's throats, but I don't think this could be any further from the truth. Though I believe the rhetoric that the media expels us is dangerous. I believe and know that as Americans, we have always been able to work no matter what. Whether someone was impoverished or middle class, whether someone was white or someone was black, or whether someone was left-handed or right-handed. Americans have always proved that we can put together the tools to fight the good fight. Though we see ourselves in a rough patch, I believe we have the formula and the path to a better future. Truly, we work together as one people, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May God bless you, may God bless our troops, and may God bless America.